Good evening. It's December 22nd, 2020. Tonight I'm going to sing a song that I wrote in 1989. It's been a long time ago since I wrote this song, and I remember the night that I wrote it. I was working as a manager of a nursing home, a very small nursing home, and the circumstances surrounding this home were that it was going to be closed, and the reason it was closing was because I had announced to the owners that I was going back to school. I needed to finish my bachelor's degree in order to continue my call to the ministry. And so after I announced to this facility that I was leaving to go back to school, they informed me that under my leadership they were profitable, but they didn't want to hunt for anybody else to run their little 23-bed facility. So they asked me as one of my last activities to close the facility. It was a difficult thing to ask for me to do because traditionally I had been somebody that was hired to fix facilities, and so the idea of closing a facility was just not something I had ever either experienced or was prepared for. In this nursing home, when I first arrived there, I had met this resident, Hallie. He's the person that I wrote this song about. Hallie was an interesting man. He was elderly and had been living in institutions his entire life. In fact, because of his diagnosis, he was developmentally disabled. He'd been in and out of care facilities most of his adult life. And the interesting thing was is that when I arrived, I discovered that this was a very talented individual. He was with skills beyond what had been being expressed by him simply because of his circumstances. Instantly, we became friends, and I unlocked for him the ability to utilize his skills and talents. Among them was this need and desire to use his hands to be creative. He loved gardening. He loved using his hands. He made cardboard structures and built these structures with just simple cardboard and scissors and glue. But at any rate, when I first arrived, he asked if he could get a shovel. He wanted to transplant a little sapling into the side yard, which was mostly rocks and debris. It was a parking lot. So of course I said sure, and I gave him the key to the shed, and he went out and he got the shovel and he transplanted this little sapling right in front of the entrance to the nursing home. And everybody laughed. They thought that was just hilarious that he would put this tree right into the entranceway where people were coming and going. He staked it out, made the tree be visible. He watered it, he cared for it, he protected it, and it grew. And after a while, this tree became a presence in the side yard of this parking lot. It was really an amazing transformation from what it was when he first transplanted. It was just a little sapling, and then it became this beautiful tree in the side yard. But he had, because of our relationship, been enabled to flourish and use his skills and talents like he'd never been able to do before. And the task of closing the facility, this place was his home, and he was one of the people I had to inform that we were closing the facility because of what I had obviously started by my turning in my resignation. And so like, he was the last person I had a conversation with, and that I remember it vividly because I went in to sit next to him to inform him that we were going to be closing the facility and he was going to have to be moved to a new home. And I remember that conversation so vividly because what he did was he comforted me with his care of me. He says, "Do not worry. God will take care of us." What happened next was powerful. He got sick that evening, went to the hospital, and that night he died. God did take care of Hallie. I was with him at the hospital when he died. I went home and I wrote this song. I hope it inspires you like it has me all these years. Hallie's memory. And the trees he gave to me, birds and the bees, and I know he loves me so, and I know he loves me so. Love him. He gave to me the hardwood of the cross. He gave to me joy and the pain, and I know he loves me so, and I know he loves me so. He gave his life for me on the cross. Sunshine and the rain, he gave to me his garden and the weed, and I know he loves me so, and I know he loves me so. The story doesn't end there. As you can imagine, God loves us and gives us opportunities to see His presence in our lives every single day that we're alive. Hallie's tree was outside this facility, providing us an opportunity to see the glory of God's love for us. And you remember, I'm closing this facility. The staff came to me at one point and said they needed me to come and look at this. I asked them, I was busy, what did they want me to come and look at? And they took me to the side door and they opened it. A tree that Hallie had transplanted died also. I can still feel the power of that moment. Penetrates me. Reminds me not to become discouraged. Not to ever give up hope. Not to ever stop knowing God is present near our space. And here comes the end of 2020. This has been one of the worst years that I have ever experienced in my entire life. I don't think I can remember any year that has been nearly as bad as this one has been. The hope of Hallie's memory sings loud in my head and reminds me not to become discouraged, not to give up hope, not to stop loving the individuals that God puts near me. Be hugged this last week of Advent 2020 as we get ready for Christmas. Maybe a new year will brighten our paths. I can't help but know that Hallie is present here tonight. Be safe. Be hugged. Goodbye now.